Good afternoon. Want to thank all the members of the media who have made time to be here today. I want to thank my friend and colleague from Nassau County, the new county executive, Bruce Blakeman, for being here today. You know, it's good to get local leaders. I was a mayor, not a county executive, but it's great to get local leaders up here to Albany to talk about issues that are, I think sometimes when we talk about issues here in the Capitol, my colleague, Leader Will Barclay, obviously is joining us today. Our colleagues from the Assembly Republican Conference are here today. But I think a lot of times when we have these press conferences and we talk about issues, we talk about them, it's like it's happening in this building, right? It's happening in Albany, and we forget that these issues have real impacts back home. They have real impacts for our county executives, for our town supervisors, for our men and women in law enforcement, for our teachers, healthcare workers. That's where the impact really is. And I think sometimes it's important to have local officials come up here to speak to those issues. So you're not just hearing from us, you're not just hearing from myself and Leader Barclay, but you're hearing from a county executive who was just elected by his constituents to represent and lead his county for the next 4 years. Last week, we unveiled, my colleagues in the Senate Republican Conference unveiled our Take Back New York agenda. And we're calling, and we believe we offer an alternative. And I said this then, and I'll say it again. It's important that the people of New York State, from Nassau County to Niagara County, and everywhere in between, know that there's an alternative to the governing philosophy and policies and EOs and mandates that have come out of Albany the last 2 years, the last 3 years. We offer that alternative. And it was 3 prongs. It called for a safer, stronger, and healthier New York. Today, we're going to talk about that first prong, safer. Because without that one, everything else hinges on a safer state. And what we've seen in the past 3 years under Democrat rule here in New York State is a less safe New York. The statistics do not lie. Crime is up. Violent crime is up. Assaults, murders, robberies are up. People dying of drug addiction are up. And what are we doing about it? What have the Democrats done about it? They have leaned in and continued to push policies that focus on criminals, that would have you believe that every criminal is really a victim. They're a victim of the system. This conference believes that criminals are criminals and the victims are the ones we never seem to talk about, or the majority never seems to talk about. And we know that bail reform and the cashless bail has created more victims. If I had a nickel for every time I heard one of my colleagues with any bill they pass, they say, if it only saves one life, it's worth it. And maybe that's true. Maybe that is a true statement. But if that's true, then any law that created even one more victim would be a bad law if you follow that philosophy to its end. And this law, cashless bail, has created more victims, period. It also has put the men and women who wear the uniform in law enforcement, it has put them in even greater harm's way. It's already a hard job. It's already a high-risk job. We already ask them to do heroic things. And this law and others that have been put forward here in Albany make their job harder. And quite frankly, there are laws out there that have demonized law enforcement, that make them out to be the perpetrator and the criminal to be the victim. This conference and the Assembly Republican Conference and County Executive Blakeman do not believe that. And we are putting forward an alternative agenda that supports our men and women in law enforcement, that puts the onus and the focus where it belongs, on victims, not on those who are victimized. And that's what we're here to talk about today.